April 2023 meeting, of the Alamanced County Historic Properties Commission come to order. We're gonna have his feedback all night. Is it gone now? Great. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes from last month's meeting?
Yes.
Does everybody agree with them?
Yes. I wouldn't hear you, so I'm taking his word for it.
Need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's good. So we've got an application for a potential new member. Would you like to talk to us and tell us all the stuff that either we don't know or we should know?
Sure, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So
Okay.
my name's Arnetta Gerardo, and I live in Alamanced County. I'm applying because I love history. I remember the bicentennial and everything that was, it seemed like everything was American history. And so ever since then, I really love 18th century history. North Carolina has a lot of that. But my local ties, besides actually living here, is that I grew up in Florida, but my family is from Wake County, from Tobacco Farm. So tobacco sent me to school. And I know what it's like to be caught behind a tractor on your way to work. And when I was growing up, I would come visit and we would go up to Apex, and Apex kind of looked like Graham does now. I had the Mayberry experience, and as an adult, I know that it's intentional what you do in the future to connect to the past. So when I was getting ready to come in here, I was walking downtown, and actually a panhandler was bothering me, so I ducked into a store, and it is Carson Talley store, and it's lovely. It looks like they're taking preservation ideas and bringing it into a new area. So I'm looking forward to this. Right now I'm spending, I'm a lawyer and a librarian, looking forward to focusing on North Carolina history. I didn't take 4th grade North Carolina history, so things like the Halifax Resolves was new to me. I was really excited to learn about that. And I'm actually really hoping to see how Alamance County is going to be part of America 250, which is the next anniversary of there's a lot more stories to tell. Obviously, I'm Black. My family is Black and also free people of color. We've always been here. It's going to be very interesting to see how America 250 tells the story a little differently. And yeah, my family wasn't thrilled that I was going to be coming to live in Alamance County, but I think Alamance is like everywhere. We're going forward. So, thanks.
Anybody got any questions?
She has her law degree, so she'll be able to keep us straight.
Yeah, probably see some procedures between being a lawyer and a librarian.
What's America 250?
That's going to be, they called it the bicentennial when it was the 200th anniversary of, I think it's the Constitution, but so now it's 50 years later, and I remember the last one. So yeah, so they're calling it America 250. So it's going to be the next big celebration, country, America-wide,
Nationwide, yeah.
of our heritage, our common like freedom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve Arnetta as a new committee member.
I second it.
So we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? So I'm gonna share some information, and other than the staff, I may be the only person on this board that knows this, just found it out a couple of weeks ago. But here in Alamance County, apparently one of the few pockets in the world where these volunteer boards have historically interviewed and made recommendations for seats placement. I'm given to understand that the rest of the world, the elected officials just put people on the board that they want. So with this board specifically, it's in our bylaws that we're to do what we've just done. Here in Alamance County, our commission board has recently taken it upon themselves to start placing people on boards that they want. So we're procedurally going to forward this on to them, and in all likelihood, they'll appoint you to this board. But if they put somebody else in here, I just want to forewarn everybody, don't be surprised. I think I'm right in saying that
We
they
have had that happen, what, 2 months ago, 3 months ago?
they have not publicly announced to Alamance County, those people who elected them to these positions, what they're doing. They've just begun to do it. Am I saying that
That's right,
correctly?
that's a countywide, all boards are
Yeah,
making these determinations,
not,
not just the ones that come to play.
not every board in the county has its own bylaws that says we take applications, we interview, we make recommendations. Some of them not that formal. So the staff and the legal department right now are working on correcting our verbiage so that it lines up with what the commissioners are doing. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for having interest in this board. I hope that this works out, but I just think it right to say, if it doesn't, don't be surprised.
She is officially the only application we're considering this point, and I believe either once we put you on the board, we still have 2 vacancies.
Next on here is reappointments. I'm guessing this is procedurally the same thing. Can we do them all at one time? Or
Well, I said, I think it wouldn't matter if you do them all at one time. It is, we can put it through. It's just, they're looking for a vote. And if there was somebody that wasn't consistent with the rest, we pull them out separately.
So all the rest of the applicants here are already on the board. There's Laurie Smith, Ms. Hadley, Mr. Wells, and Eric. So they're up for reappointment.
I make a motion to reappoint Lori.
Second that.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Make a motion, we appoint Catherine, reappoint Catherine.
I second it.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed?
I make a motion, we reappoint Chris Wells.
I second it.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And I make a motion, we reappoint Eric.
I second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And just for the record, it's Eric.
It's just Derek with an A.
You said that. Okay.
That's right.
So country, you say it.
So these things are handled a bit differently than they used to be. It used to be the planning director puts it on the agenda for commissioners and so forth and so on. So that is not the way they want it. I have to send stuff to the clerk now and y'all's vote, and then the clerk handles it in a timely way of which the chair of the commissioners makes that decision on which meeting they go to. I generally just forward it to the next meeting. I expect it will be the beginning of May's meeting. That'll be the next, because the next meeting, next Monday is too late to get on that agenda. So I was talking to her about that today, so it sounds like that would be likely, and then that would reappoint everybody to 2026.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the plaques? You want to just wait till next month on that?
Oh, no, we can talk about it. I feel like we've done up quite a bit.
Okay,
Who you want? I think we told, Mr. Braxton first, he's probably short on this one. So y'all have, did everybody get that? Let me share. What's it? I'm going to share, I have a proclamation for Mr. Braxton that I wasn't really aware that wasn't aware of all this stuff, so I started talking to the clerk, and she informed me of lots of stuff. Lots of stuff that had gone on, but she had records of it. I don't think we had all of, because I can only see part of planning. She can see so much more, and they've changed softwares and stuff, so she found more stuff for me. What we got going for him. So he has a proclamation that was done, I think that was
June the 21st, 2018.
Yeah, so it was a full year. Y'all looked at him in April, I think, of 2018 is what we found, but it was almost a full
Okay.
year before they got back to that at the commissioner level. There we go. There he is. Right there.
Mhm.
Okay, so proclamation as they wrote it talks about his time serving commission and undertaking countywide architectural survey, identifying 500 historic resources, designated 11 local landmarks, and created a local historic marker program. And that was June 2018. All the commissioners signed it, clerk signed it. Couldn't find in the minutes that it was presented at a meeting. Must have been presented outside of a meeting, sent to, but in a different way, given to him and his family. So he has, we were talking about whether we have recognized what we have done. He has been recognized completely by commissioners and the full day for what they would consider recognition. Because of what this board wants to do with next. So we're talking about a plaque or something and what to do next. It would definitely be something directly this board minus the commissioners, since they've already done part of it.
This is a nice document.
Quite so.
Yeah, they frame these and
Agree.
everything for them when they give them to them.
Oh,
Very,
nice.
very
Quite
nice. Very nicely done.
If this was presented at a public meeting to him, I'd be shocked.
It was not. We just couldn't find any record that it was.
Yeah,
Evidently, of course, this is June of 18. This is when they had evidently some bond issues. They were redoing some other documents for the county and then budget. There's a lot of stuff on the agenda, so this didn't make it to an agenda for recognition.
right. Well, I think we need to look into a plaque that could be put with this official document that Judy probably has.
Okay.
That's just my thought, but y'all,
I think, yeah, part of the discussion last month is plaque and where to put said plaque.
and reaching out to Katrina to see if it's something they want to put at the house and just let it be theirs versus making a big, putting it out here on the street. That would be a little out of character.
That would be an exception to the rule rather than the rule.
Yeah, you're talking about a small plaque or one of the big,
Historic marker.
yeah, storage markers.
Yeah, I'm talking about a small plaque to give to the family to let them have or put on the wall or do something like that, not putting up an outdoor marker. Do I think Johnny Braxton deserves a street marker? Yes, I do. Do I think Johnny Braxton would approve of that if he were here? No, I do not. Do you think I'm wrong, Miss Hadley?
No.
Okay. You know, there are some things that need to be, you need a big, for everybody to see marker. And there are some things that need to be a little more, in my opinion, in line with the person that they're representing. And Johnny Braxton wasn't over the top. He probably one of the smartest people that I knew. Not this group. But you know what I'm saying. But he was, his whole countenance was humble. He wasn't in your face. He's just, if you ask him a question, he probably gonna answer it, and you probably gonna get the right answer. But you gonna have to ask the question to find out that he's got that information, because he just, that's just my take on it.
Does this fourth whereas include his working out at the Alamance Battleground, like with the making the cannons and all? Does that include that?
It doesn't seem to include that. It seems to really just include the work you did on this.
Yeah, on this board, I would say no.
Somewhere along the line, I think that it could be recognized at the Alamance Battleground too, but again, I know Katrina said that she requested something for the family to put where they wanted to.
Well, since our last meeting, Katrina's husband, Mark, stopped by the house, and he and I had a chance to talk just a little bit about this. And he shared with me some information that I kind of had, but had never given any thought to. And that was that Johnny was, and John, so he'd been Johnny Braxton to me all my life. So when I say Johnny, I'm talking about Mr. John Braxton. He said he hated that. People called him Johnny, and he just hated his name, John. I know it. Never heard it till he told me. But you know, I've spent my whole life listening to Daddy. Well, I'm gonna run over Johnny Braxton's, and you too, I'm sure. But anyhow, he said that he was a member of a muzzle loading gun group on the national level. And he had made those rifles or muskets or whatever they were. And they get together once a year and they have these
Reenactments.
There's that, but there's also some graded shooting. In other words, we take these reproductive guns and set targets up and see who can shoot the best and whose gun shoots the best. And for years, his guns have performed. Those people, they want a John Braxton gun so they can win the shoot. And this past time, they had a chance to go out there, and Christopher went. He got to shoot in there. Mark went. Judy got to go, and she was recognized as being his widow. And I mean, it was a big deal way he told it. And as far as I know, it wasn't mentioned around here. They might have talked about it at home, but nobody in Alamanced County knew that, you know, we got a guy down here in the Eli Whitney community that's for years made these replica firearms that have been winning first places in competitions for many, many years. We didn't have that information. So what you're saying is right. We could make a plaque, you know, big as the wall of this room. And yes, ma'am.
Teacher, at the entrance to their long drive, there is a piece of metal that he has designed out there. And I'm just visualizing, I know the family put it where they want to, but I would like to see this Alamanced County Preservation Commission have just a small metal something or another instead of a wooden, something from the home that could be placed outdoors at the entrance to that drive if the family decided. And it doesn't have to say anything except except for that fourth, just short, that fourth whereas,
Mhm.
but say Alamance County Historic Commission, but metal, that could be inside or outside,
Something weatherproof.
weatherproof, and for he and Pat Shaw Bailey, something weatherproof. But that's just my idea.
So the Pat Bailey placard would have been an outdoor plaque.
Mhm.
When it comes to fruition, it will be. How about if we reach out to Katrina and get the family's feeling on that? Because we're gonna have to come up with the money for this from somewhere. And no point in that. This is my business side.
I am so sorry.
No, that's fine. You're gonna have to play the Rodney card here in a minute and answer it and say, well, I'm getting ready to tell you. You hit the button and answer it, say, the reason I didn't answer the other 3 times is because it don't suit me to talk now. I will call you when I get through.
Just hand it to Rodney next time. Do we need to be consistent between the two? Or does
Yes.
it just, because obviously we set a precedent, let's say 15 years, 10 years from now, something else comes up and we're trying to do something similar. Do we always want to go to the family to see what they want? Or do we want to do what's right for the county and the commission to honor somebody? I mean, that's a tricky balancing act.
We were very consistent in the proclamations. They did do that. Even though they're many years apart, we were pretty consistent in that.
I remember maybe 4 years ago when we talked about the Pat Shaw Bailey. Tanya, did you not say there is some, at that time, there was some money in a fund that could be used for something like this?
We did. I mean, that stuff rolls year to year, but there's money in the budget to take care of something like
I
that.
think so too.
We wouldn't, of course,
Okay.
get flags for people requesting from, but requesting as part of this commission and members. I think that's fair.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay.
I guess my only concern about just giving it to the family is it could get lost in history too, you know? If we put something out somewhere outside, the name's there generally forever, you know?
Okay.
And somebody could say, all right, I need to research this guy, where if it ends up in somebody's attic somewhere,
Or
Yeah.
desk
you know,
drawer.
never again.
Okay.
It goes back to his question. You do it as a board. Are we doing it for the county? Or are we doing it for the family?
Well, feel bad is, like Tanya said, the proclamation is nice, but it was never officially presented.
Mhm.
So now we do a plaque and they put it in the house. Now it's also never officially presented and it's in the house. So that we've had 2 opportunities to honor somebody and neither one were on public display or, like Eric was saying, in perpetuity. Because you put something out, like Miss Hadley said, if we put it out Alamance Battleground, if he had a big hand in that, I'm not 100% sure, but apparently he did. That would be a spot that's always going to be there. It's a state historic site.
And like you say, he's a humble man and didn't want anybody to know about it, and that's all the reason why we should do it.
Well, there is that.
I go back to my own history, which was when I retired, I didn't want, I tried to refuse a retirement ceremony. The general explained to me, it's not yours, it's the organization's. You'll be there. You're just part of the program. So it's, as a commission that represents the county, what we're doing it for is the county.
Okay.
And so I think I think we geared towards making something weatherproof, whatever material it needs to be made out of,
Figure out the wording
the wording and
along the way. the
exactly where to
places
put
work
it.
out.
Well, okay, so in my opinion, we need to come up with a accessible central location And I think they both should be in proximity of each other. I don't think we ought to have one at the Alamanced Battleground and another one down at Spring Church. I think they ought to be on a county property, something that's going to stay there, like you said. And, you know, if such time comes that another one, then they kind of be in proximity of each other. That's my opinion.
Would Eli Whitney Gymnasium, that property be county property that is a spot?
I think right now it's county property.
Because the recreation department, I think,
Mhm.
oversees it.
Parks and Rec.
And I do know that there is a historical marker there for the Uncle Eli's quilting party.
Mhm.
And perhaps in that area, there would be room for two other markers, just an idea. Smaller, I don't,
Mhm.
that what that's there is too big. I mean, for individual, I just don't mean that negatively, but certainly not what I'm thinking about.
Right.
I mean, even down Saxby Hall with the senator, Senator Jordan, it's just small,
Mhm.
something more that size.
Yeah. I think we need to get the verbiage worked out. Cast aluminum, as far as the metal, probably the way to go. There's certainly others, but that would be weatherproof and fairly light. Again, that's just one person's opinion.
Tanya, did you have the words that this commission has planned for Pat Shaw Bailey?
I did not have those words. Somebody else on this board had those words.
The verbiage,
Yes, was it you?
yes, I have from the minutes of January 2014.
Yes.
We had a suggested wording. This memorial is in remembrance of Pat Bailey, historian, preservation, and genealogist, February 2nd, 1927 through December 4th, 2013. Pat's spirit lives on here in a place that is special to her. It was here in Southern Alamance that Pat began her life's dedication to historical preservation. This plaque is a reminder of her strength, determination, and love for history. And then it would be signed by Alamanced County Historical Properties Commission.
Was that? Was it ever determined where you-
That was that was approved in the minutes. From what I can tell, so I can pull
Okay.
those back and
Okay,
get that to the trophy shop. That's not a big deal.
sorry.
We can get that language and get it to whoever's gonna make the flag and how we want the flag. So that one sounds like the board is massaged it. The board came up with that language, and I guess as far as we know, everybody's still good with that. We don't want to revisit that.
I remember talking with Rodney since then, that perhaps an idea would be to add the word Shaw. Pat Shaw Bailey, did we not?
Okay.
Did we not? Do you remember that conversation we had?
I think I do remember that. And as we look at this proclamation from the county commissioners, the way it reads is Elizabeth Pat S. Bailey. But Pat Shaw Bailey would probably be more correct.
Well, I believe so.
Yeah. I'm not sure I ever heard the word Elizabeth used in reference to her till I read it here. It was always
I don't
Pat
know
Bailey.
that either.
And of course, if she was a Shaw, that would just just a given.
If y'all want me to move on the pad, I've got some information for her too.
Okay.
Let me pull up. She's got confirmation too.
Oh,
That language for Pat, what she's pulling up, that language for Pat's was good, then we probably just need to figure out how many words were in there.
Yeah, and
Use
we,
the same length so
Yeah.
that we can put them on the same template.
yeah, and there, we might need to tweak it a little bit depending upon where the plaque is going because it
It's just a little bit wordy there at the end. I believe some of that could be,
cut out. Okay.
I believe so. I need to be quiet.
No, you're fine.
You certainly.
Each own. Each own.
I had to give up my chewing gum. You feel free to chime right in.
So for Pat, they did present hers at the April 21st, 2014 meeting. So the commissioners presented her proclamation. And they talk about, Mr. Hager was assistant manager then, spoke about Miss Bailey and her knowledge of the county's history, involved in a county anniversary and Uncle Ellie's quilting party.
Eli.
I'm sorry. Eli. That makes sense. Mr. Hager introduced Miss Bailey's daughters. They were there, and sister, who also spoke about Miss Bailey. Chairman Smith read the proclamation and presented a copy to Miss Bailey's family. A frame memorial was also displayed in honor of Miss Bailey that is placed at the Eli Whitney Community Center. So I also got a copy of that. I've got some of the stuff printed off too, if anybody wants copies when they leave. Is that Sherry? Yes. So you can see they took pictures at the meeting. The top right corner is their picture, and then the plaque down below, Mr. Haygood has with all the things that was put on that and then placed at Eli Whitney. So I know they redid part of Eli Whitney, and this has moved in there, but my understanding is it's still hanging in Eli Whitney gym. They redid the foyer or something. Pulled up the flooring, some symbol that was in the floor, they have now mounted on the wall as recognition, and then redid some of the floors in the front, but not back in the gym. And this is on the wall near that symbol that they redid. And then, I think they said, I mean, the proclamation reads similarly to Mr. Braxton. Let me pull that up.
it just has more
Is this-
specifics on all the different projects I believe she worked on.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more,
Yeah.
compared to,
Okay.
it's got examples of the things that she did. So breaks it down like how many terms in each capacity. This word advocate,
Mhm.
both of them. I mean, that's who they were really.
That's correct.
One word that I would say is the word passion. They both were really passionate
Mhm.
about. Doesn't seem here like about educating, creating awareness. Like, would you say that? I mean, you knew them really well, but it sounds like it.
It wouldn't be wrong to put that in there.
Yeah.
Oh, she's sharing with everybody.
Huh?
Sharing with everybody.
So the one thing, like as a suggestion I had, and it's a common thread with both of them, is they had a lot of passion for what they did, for history and for Alamance County. They loved the county and they had a real passion to share that and create awareness within the community. I mean, that somehow we can incorporate. I don't know how everybody like educating the community about all the historical landmarks and the richness of it, and creating awareness.
Well, I know what Miss Hadley's just dying to do, but she hadn't done it. Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion that we appoint
Robbie.
Robbie, and Laurie, and Tanya to be on a committee to finalize the wording for these two medal documents for John Braxton and Pat Shaw Bailey.
So before anybody seconds that, what I was gonna say was she wanted to give us all some homework. And that was to go and in this next month, read these proclamations and just make some notes. Just in your quiet time, everybody kind of makes some notes and bring them back and look at them all together and kind of see what that reads like. Think that's a bad idea.
Of course not, teacher. I don't see anything wrong with my idea of these two and that.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor.
No,
Made a motion.
I didn't make a motion.
Yeah.
And I haven't rescinded it.
No. So if somebody will second it, we'll vote on it.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. But it in essence is for Robbie, Laurie, and Tanya to work on some verbiage for these two plaques. All in favor, aye? Opposed? All right, we've got a subcommittee. They can work out their schedule amongst themselves. We don't need to. do that for them.
So if I understand right, make sure I know what the goal of the committee is to come back with some draft for the board next month. Perfect.
For the two plaques,
Mhm.
right? So when you have an opportunity, would you mind sending the one for Pat Bailey? The
Proclamation.
proclamation?
Mhm.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
I'll send you everything I have with that.
Over there. Okay. Thank you.
I have some copies, but
All right, cool. Awesome. All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
This may be a bad idea, but since they're honoring both of them, they're going to the same place for roughly similar reasons. Should we make one plaque honoring both of them?
Well, okay. If somebody hadn't dragged his feet on the first one, that wouldn't be an option. Because this Pat Bailey one's been in the works for 7 or 8 years. Somebody just hadn't
Yeah.
got it done. So if the consensus of the group is they want to do one plaque, put 2 names on it, you make a motion, second it. If it goes through, that's fine. But I'm just one person, but I think we need to have 2 plaques.
Like I said, it's just not it.
Well, no,
I
it's
appreciate
and
the
that's,
thought. I mean-
and that's the reason why we have these meetings is
Yeah.
to,
Just feel it'd be fitting to have one for each one of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just because of their enormous contributions, who they were, and also it may, so that it stands out, right? It's just one individual.
Personalized.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm,
so
true.
bring,
Mhm.
so. But it's a good thought. I mean, you know,
So having these thought sessions, sitting here just bouncing ideas back and forth, kind of like playing baseball. So for many, many years, we all knew who hit the most home runs. His name was Babe Ruth. Other fact, not nearly as well publicized, but he also had the strikeout record that kind of mirrored them home runs. Takeaway on it is you got to get the bat in your hand, you got to get the plate, you got to swing at that ball. So you either gonna do something or not. So I say that we don't have any bad ideas.
Yeah, no,
I say stuff and the group, no, we ain't doing that. I said, okay, no problem. We're all still friends.
yeah,
And every once in a while, you pick one out the park. Hey, that's a good idea. Well, okay. And I try to remember to leave my chewing gum outside. I'm gonna ride that horse a while. Okay. According to is anything else you want to talk about, Tanya?
No, I think I've got everything else, yeah.
What about that meal over at Hall River or whatever? It was in the minutes that you might talk about. Is it update on that?
They have not moved forward with that yet. They've got multiple pieces to work through with the town themselves. And for whatever reason, even last time he did his project at Great Mills, we seem to be on the back end rather than the front end of that. So he's got to go through rezoning, he's got to go through some pretty big hoops to jump them, and they have a sewer capacity issue, meaning specifically to that site, their sewer lines and things aren't right. So I think he sees those first and the biggest hurdles, and then he has actually made some changes to the property, meaning it's down to the original steel. So we've had to put a stucco quarter out there as well for work being done, which means a certificate of appropriateness may or may not be appropriate anymore because there's no building left. But those are things he's going to have to approach us on what he did, and that what he's done hasn't compromised the historical perspective or the parts that he has done he wasn't trying to keep. I don't know, because he's in that historic district. Those are the things we're waiting to hear from him on. And really, we've heard from a couple engineers, and he's went through, I think, 2 engineering firms now. So project's moving slower, and then it'll get on fire soon enough, I guess. I think they were working through some of those rezoning hoops in March with Hall River, and then we'll see, might be summer before we see him. But I know he wants to be really moving forward on construction by fall, which means he needs to see y'all first. Because I think he came twice to y'all for Granite Mills. He came for one certificate of appropriateness before I got here to begin the project, but then had to make some more modifications inside. And I remember bringing those back to y'all. But in all fairness, the mill that he's fixing to work on is in way worse shape, much more deteriorated than the ones were across the street when he started. He's in a historic district, and if he wants to stay that way, he's got to come y'all. And I have given lots of notice on that. Make sure he doesn't misunderstand that.
Anything else?
There was an inquiry about the founding members of the HPC. I found a list of members, but it shows up in the acknowledgements of the Alamance County Architectural Heritage Book that was printed in 1980, which I don't know if all of these people would be founding members or if they kind of were added to the group between 1977 and 1980. So I don't have a proper, I can't say that, yes, every one of these people were founding members. Tanya, were you able to, did you find any?
They're still digging for that.
They're still digging for
Yeah,
that?
the clerk has done a great job on these, and that's to do on her list.
Okay.
We decided that, I remember part of that discussion on that, but we decided that because you were trying to figure out how long how long some of the members had been on totally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I can give you the list that I have, and y'all might say, oh yeah, or no way, but.
And we have all the minute books back to the beginning of HPC.
Okay.
They're not digital. That's something I guess we get to, but so we can dig through and see even, because the Historic Property Commission had to be created through the commissioners.
Mhm.
And then we would have started our book. So the clerk really would have the first part of that. If she has a hard time digging up, at least I can date her back, how far back she needs to go. And
Okay.
of course, the further back you go, the less information we find. But-
Right.
And the SHPO might be able to help me, and, because we had to establish with them too. So we just gotta explore some of our opportunities after clerk
Okay.
finds whatever and see what, they have on record too.
Okay.
Well, what's the list you got?
I've got George Truxler, Nexie Barge, Sarah Ryan, Ella Mae Pearl, Ann Morrison, John Braxton, Richard Bryan, Ruth Wade, Pat Bailey, Audrey Turner, and Durwood Stokes.
And you said it was 1980?
Yes,
Well, two or three of them names in there sound real familiar.
yeah,
That's something.
Durwood Stokes and George Troxler
Mhm.
probably were part of the original.
And
Looks like
Sarah
some of
Ryan.
our files
Sarah Ryan.
Mhm.
Mhm.
may actually go back to 77,
Yep.
just digital. so
His wife
might have
writes a
something
lot.
for that.
Steve?
Is that a relation there? I'm
I'm
just
sure.
sure that's the,
He's agriculture commissioner.
that's right, yeah.
Commissioner.
It just jumped out, that
Yeah.
last name. I didn't know if there was a,
I don't know. I don't know if they're
Just a-
related
yeah.
or not.
I was just curious about that.
But his wife is a historian as well.
Oh,
She
You
does
talking
a
about
lot
George
of writing.
Troxler?
Mhm,
His
yes.
wife is Carol Troxler,
Mhm.
and she
Stop
was
sharing.
professor at Elon, and she's in my Y exercise class. I see her about twice a week.
Okay.
the name's
Well,
Steve
just-
Troxler from Austin.
just ask her if she's related to the agriculture commissioner.
She's from Georgia.
So probably not.
Her husband make it.
I know.
Like during the election cycle, you saw that name.
Mhm.
That's how it jumps out at me.
Well, Jim Graham had to move to make a place for somebody. Well, anything else?
Sir.
I believe you all reported an email about trainings being offered across the state. As a certified local government, 4 people, 1 staff, including 1 staff member, so 3 board members, need to attend these for our continuing ed. That is something the county pays for your transportation, any registration, that kind of thing, and when we have a per diem per day, depending on how long it's on, all that kinds of stuff. For people that are willing and able to go, there, it seems like they're everywhere. There's one, Ian's gonna pull it up real quick, that we got for Beaufort Cemetery, and that's a ways from here. They usually put on a good presentation down there. It's coming up in May. They did tell me there would be some more offerings maybe online, but I don't know what time this year that would happen and if it would work for us. The closest one was an hour south of here.
Sanford.
Yeah, Sanford, I was thinking South Carolina, that's not right. So Sanford would, I think, be the closest to everything else.
September 25th.
Yeah, so that's in the fall. Something for y'all to ponder, whoever would have the time, because it's usually a whole day that you're committing to it. I think it's 4 or 6 hours of actual training, and then of course there's travel time it takes. What about the stuff Burlington? So when I talked to Christie at SHPO, that doesn't seem to be qualifiers for our continuing ed. Just specifically asked somebody, I know Burlington's doing some stuff, and she said, you're welcome to do that, but that would be in addition to the requirements for what qualifies for your continuing ed.
So are you able to do this? I know like post-COVID, they had the recorded sessions, like you could go in and then summarize everything that you learned and then send it over. Is that an option like that? If you can't make it physically?
No, they've taken that kind of away,
They have.
other than if she has this online thing that she's trying to get up.
Yeah.
Then we could do, it sounds like it's gonna be set up more like when we were in COVID, where we could run them during the meetings.
Yeah.
And then y'all write something afterwards.
Yeah.
They're hoping to get some of that up. Of course, we're short staffed like everybody else.
Yeah.
But for now, these are the only things that they offer, and they are in person kind of attendance.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any write-up afterwards. We didn't used to do,
Mm-mm.
no, we went to Raleigh and stuff, we didn't do that.
Now, if you stay awake through it, you don't have to write anything,
No.
but it's true.
And some of this more coastal stuff talks about flooding and historic districts and stuff, which really isn't totally relevant to us, but I thought they did a great job last year when they came, and they made it very relevant to Alamance County when they came. Would love to have that opportunity for them to come here again.
I'm gonna try to make this. We bought some property down in Bath, so it might work out real well.
You're gonna have a month vacation to get,
No, 40.
I gotta stay awake though, right?
if you wanna get credit for what you do.
He's gonna go forward that.
Pardon?
Go forward that too.
Okay.
So you said they might, if the online option is available, they will let you know, right?
Yes,
All right.
and she said she knows it'll be later this summer before she even gets that to a
Get to
point where she
that.
can release it.
And for now, so these are the dates, and I see that's all during the week, right?
Yes, because they work 8 to 5, yes. The people at Preservation Group.
That one in Swansboro is on Saturday. Coming up in 2 weeks.
John shared
might.
that he plans to go to the one at Sanford,
Okay.
and if you go to the one at
Beaufort.
Beaufort,
And I
that's,
may be able to go to the one in Wilmington. That's after we get done with their state championships. That's the week after baseball, softball, and soccer. So
So now it's up to staff, otherwise we're good for this year.
Oh, yeah, we're just gonna fill in wherever we need. And I have looked at them, but since we got them and I knew we were about to be in a meeting, we want to make sure that y'all got all the information. Just start a discussion.
But you don't get credit for going over to Borington.
And you know, that commission has expressed, and it's probably been 1 year, interest in pulling our 2 commissions together, just for like a workshop to kind of discuss. Enjoy intermingling with another commission, see what everybody's doing and everything. So one day we might just take them up on that. Since y'all represent, not Alamance, that's the only one that didn't sign up years ago, and I think they're still talking about that. Y'all represent the rest of the county.
Well, here again, it's just my opinion, but having the Burlington Historic Properties Commission, the Alamanced County Historic Properties Commission, Graham, whomever, getting together for a how y'all doing session is along the same lines of having 2 neighboring churches get together and having a joint service with a meal, with a singing, with a whatever. Anytime you've got like-mindedness and fellowship, it can be good. You learn stuff from other people. Sometimes you learn negatively and say, make sure we don't do that. But it's always, in my opinion, right to get together and have fellowship, camaraderie with others. That's just my personal opinion.
So I don't mind reaching back out and just kind of seeing where they stand with that these days. I as well didn't think it was a bad idea at all. They of course have a different rule book than y'all have and how they handle their historic districts. A bit more rules altogether, but I don't think that that's still close enough to make it a good opportunity.
And hopefully we wouldn't get together and square off like 2 ball teams and say, we do this, y'all don't do that. But in other words, just having conversation. We've been working on this over here, and just because you never know what kind of inspiration you will get from the conversation.
Right.
Again, just my opinion.
I think it's a good idea. It would be helpful.
If we don't hurry up, wrap this meeting up, we might get that credit here. Because I think we got some folks getting ready to start dozing off on us.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting for today.
I second it.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Uh,
See you next time.